I don't want to fight you, Flash. I wouldn't want to fight me neither.
Help him, Harry!
We kick things off with a rowdy yellow school bus packed with high schoolers heading straight for a science field trip at Columbia University. Amidst the chaos of flying paper airplanes, loud chatter, and the typical high school drama, we zero in on our main guy, Peter. Now, Peter isn't your typical cool kid. In fact, he's as ordinary and invisible as they come, a textbook nerd who constantly finds himself at the bottom of the high school food chain. His ultimate crush is a beautiful girl in his class named Mary. Peter would give absolutely anything just to have a normal conversation with her, but unfortunately, Mary's popular friends make it their daily mission to relentlessly mock and bully him.
High tension wire used to enrich.
Leave him alone. Or what? What's Daddy gonna do?
Peter's world is pretty small. He only has one true friend, a guy named Harry. The contrast between them is insane. While Peter is just scraping by, Harry comes from extreme wealth. His father is an insanely brilliant, incredibly rich scientist pulling the strings over at Columbia University. Peter, on the other hand, was dealt with a tragic hand early in life. He's an orphan, having lost his parents when he was just a little kid, and he currently lives in a humble home under the loving, proud care of his aunt and uncle. They might not have millions of dollars, but they have a lot of hearts. Once the students finally step foot inside the high-tech genetics lab at the university, their guide starts showing them the wildest things. We are talking about highly advanced, genetically modified super spiders. The guide explains the terrifying and fascinating qualities these specific arachnids possess, detailing how their DNA has been sliced and diced to create the ultimate predators. While everyone is distracted by the science lesson, Peter is focused on something else entirely: Mary. He quietly lifts his camera, trying to snap a few beautiful portraits of the girl he's hopelessly falling for.
Don't make me look ugly.
That's impossible.
While Peter is busy looking through the camera lens, one of the experimental super spiders, which had mysteriously gone missing from its secure enclosure, drops down. It lands right on Peter's hand and sinks its fangs deep into his skin. He brushes it off, thinking it's just a regular bug bite. But by the time Peter gets back to his aunt and uncle's house, his body begins to completely shut down. A violently intense fever takes over. He stumbles into his bedroom, his vision blurring, cold sweat dripping down his face, and collapses onto the floor in a dead faint. What Peter doesn't realize as he lies there unconscious is that the venom isn't killing him. It is completely rewriting his DNA. Every cell, every muscle, every fiber of his being is mutating. He went to sleep as a frail, invisible high schooler, but he is about to wake up as something entirely different, a superhuman. We cut to Harry's father, the genius billionaire scientist. He has been under intense pressure to deliver a state-of-the-art super soldier weapon for the military. Millions of dollars and his entire reputation are on the line.
I never supported your program.
Desperate to prove that his performance-enhancing formula actually works, he decides to cross the ultimate line in science. He tests the unstable weapon on himself. He steps into a sealed chamber, and the experimental gas floods the room. But instantly, things go horrifyingly wrong. The weapon is vastly unbalanced. Instead of just making him stronger, it violently shatters his mind. He descends into absolute, uncontrollable madness right there in the lab. In a fit of psychotic rage fueled by his new superhuman strength, he brutally murders his own loyal assistant. The brilliant scientist is gone. A terrifying, unhinged monster has taken his place. The next morning, the sun shines through Peter's window and he slowly opens his eyes. Immediately, something feels different. He reaches for his thick, heavy glasses, but when he puts them on, the world is a blurry mess. He takes them off, and his vision is flawlessly perfect. Confused, he stands up and looks in the mirror. The scrawny, fragile boy from yesterday is completely gone. Staring back at him is a heavily muscled, incredibly shredded physique. He touches his chest, completely baffled by the overnight transformation. But the real test of his new powers happens at school. While walking down the hallway, he spots Mary slipping on a spilled puddle. Time suddenly slows down for Peter. With reflexes that defy human logic, he lunges forward, catching Mary securely with one arm while simultaneously balancing her entire lunch tray flawlessly with the other. Not a single drop of food hits the floor. Mary looks at him, completely wide-eyed and highly impressed. For the first time in his life, Peter is the cool guy.
Wow, good reflexes.
Later, while Peter is sitting alone at a lunch table trying to process everything, he notices something bizarre. A sticky, incredibly strong webbing suddenly shoots right out of his wrists. Panicking, he tries to shake it off, but this webbing is like steel. In his frantic attempt to detach himself, he accidentally slingshots a lunch tray all the way across the cafeteria, striking a group of aggressive, tough bullies right in the back of the head. The cafeteria goes dead silent. The bullies turn around, their faces red with sheer anger, and they charge at Peter, ready to beat him into a pulp. But as they swing their fists, something magical happens. A newly developed sixth sense kicks in inside Peter's brain. Everything moves in extreme slow motion. He can feel the danger before it even happens. With zero effort, he dodges every single punch, flips through the air, and completely humiliates the bullies in front of the entire school. On his way home, his mind is racing. If he can do all that, what else is he capable of? He touches a brick wall in a dark alleyway. To his utter shock, his fingers stick to the rough surface. He takes a step up, then another. Within seconds, he is literally walking vertically up the side of a building, scaling the wall exactly like a spider. Realizing he has literal superpowers, Peter gets an idea. He doesn't think about saving the world. He thinks about the one thing a broke teenager wants: money. He spots an ad for an underground wrestling tournament offering a massive cash prize to anyone who can survive 3 minutes in the cage. Excited, Peter secretly designs a rugged, colorful Spider-Man costume so no one will recognize him. The night of the big match, his uncle kindly offers to drive him to the city, thinking Peter is just going to the library. Before Peter gets out of the car, his uncle looks him dead in the eye. He senses that Peter is changing and imparts a piece of wisdom that will echo through eternity. Remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Peter, feeling cocky and arrogant, brushes the advice off and heads into the arena. Inside, Peter is locked in a steel cage with a terrifying mountainous wrestler. But thanks to his insane agility, super strength, and spider sense, Peter toys with the giant, eventually knocking him out cold and winning the match with ease. He confidently marches into the wrestling manager's office to collect his hard-earned cash. But the manager is a sleazy crook. He hands Peter a fraction of the promised money,
$100. The ad said 3.
Brutally shortchanging him. When Peter demands the rest, the manager simply smirks and kicks him out.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
Just moments later, a desperate thief bursts into the office, points a weapon, grabs a massive bag of the manager's cash, and sprints down the hallway. The thief runs right past Peter. The manager screams, begging Peter to stick out his foot and trip the guy. But Peter, completely fueled by petty revenge, steps aside and lets the thief escape into the elevator. When the manager angrily demands to know why Peter let him go, Peter coldly throws the manager's own words right back in his face.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
It feels like a victory, until Peter walks out onto the dark city streets. Up ahead, he sees a massive crowd gathered around, flashing police lights. A heavy, dreadful feeling washes over him. He pushes through the crowd and his heart stops. Lying on the cold pavement, bleeding out, is his beloved uncle, the very man who raised him. A police officer tells Peter the horrific truth. A carjacker shot his uncle and stole his vehicle. Blinded by absolute rage and crushing grief,
Uncle Ben?
Peter doesn't wait for the cops. He uses his incredible powers to sprint across rooftops, swinging and leaping through the night to hunt down the killer. He finally corners the carjacker in an abandoned, decaying warehouse. Peter brutally beats the man into the shadows, but when the killer's face is finally revealed in the moonlight, Peter stops breathing. It's the exact same thief he let escape at the wrestling arena.
Just give me a chance! What about my uncle?
If Peter had just stopped him when he had the chance, his uncle would still be alive. Terrified by Peter's monstrous strength, the thief backs up, trips over a pipe, and plunges screaming out of a high window to his death. But the revenge brings Peter zero comfort. He returns home to his devastated aunt, realizing that he is now the last pillar of support she has left in this dark world. From that night forward, Peter's entire outlook on life shatters and rebuilds itself. The heavy guilt of his uncle's death constantly weighs on him, turning his uncle's final words into his ultimate life mission. High school ends, and Peter sews himself a highly advanced, professional superhero suit. Whenever and wherever evil strikes in the city, his sixth sense alerts him. Whether it's a mugging in a dark alley or a speeding runaway car, Spider-Man is there, swinging through the concrete jungle to eliminate the threat. The city goes completely crazy for him. Some people think he's an alien, others think he's a mutant bug. To make a living, Peter gets a job as a freelance photographer for a major newspaper. The catch? He takes the most spectacular close-up photos of himself fighting crime and sells them to the newspaper's loud, incredibly grumpy owner. This boss absolutely despises Spider-Man, actively running smear campaigns against him. But he pays Peter top dollar because no one else can get a clear shot of the web slinger. Meanwhile, Harry's father, the brilliant scientist whose mind was shattered by his own chemical weapon, has spiraled into total villainy. He crafts a terrifying, weaponized metallic suit and a high-tech flying glider. Armed with pumpkin bombs and blades, he starts targeting anyone who ever wronged him. The true tipping point happens when the board of directors at his own company votes to fire him due to the massive financial losses he caused. This completely pushes him over the edge. He decides to crash the city's massive outdoor cultural festival, a massive celebration packed with thousands of innocent people, including the very board members who ousted him. Peter happens to be at the festival too, snapping photos for the newspaper. He even spots his friends, Harry and Mary, enjoying the event on a high-rise balcony. Suddenly, Peter's spider sense goes absolutely berserk. A piercing, high-pitched whine cuts through the sky. The crowd points upward, thinking it's a surprise attraction, but it's the mad scientist, swooping in on his devilish glider. Without hesitation, he lobs a highly explosive bomb straight at the VIP balcony. Boom! The explosion shatters the building. Giant chunks of concrete rain down on the screaming crowd below. Absolute chaos erupts. Watching the destruction, Peter spots a massive slab of stone plummeting toward two innocent bystanders. In a flash, he shoots his webs, yanking them out of the crush zone just in time. He dives into an empty alley, tears off his street clothes, and emerges as Spider-Man. Up on the crumbling balcony, things are looking dire. The mad scientist lands his glider and tosses a horrific, glowing weapon at the board members who fired him. In seconds, the weapon violently vaporizes them, turning their bodies from skeletons into a pile of ash. Harry, trying to be a hero, gets knocked out cold by falling debris. Mary is left clinging to the edge of the collapsing balcony, screaming for her life. Just as the crazed villain swoops in to finish Mary off, Spider-Man launches himself into the sky, tackling the metal-clad maniac right off his glider. The fight is brutally intense. The villain is shockingly strong, delivering a strike that sends Spider-Man flying through the air. But Peter refuses to give up. He maneuvers around the flying glider, shoots a thick wad of webbing directly onto the villain's faceplate to blind him, and violently smashes the glider's engine. With the villain temporarily blinded and his ride smoking, the madman is forced to retreat, shouting that they will meet again. Spider-Man wastes no time. He swings down, catching Mary just as her grip fails, delivering her safely to a rooftop. Mary looks at her mysterious savior, her heart pounding.
Who are you?
Spider-Man turns, looking back at her through his white lenses. You know who I am. I'm your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. The villain knows that Spider-Man is the only person on Earth who can stop him. So, he tracks our hero down and offers him a dark, tempting proposition. Join forces, and together, they can rule the city as unstoppable gods. But Peter is a hero to his core. He flat out rejects the offer, declaring he only wants to protect the innocent. Angered by the rejection, the villain sets a massive trap, setting a high-rise apartment building completely on fire. When Spider-Man swings into the blazing inferno to save the trapped civilians, the villain ambushes him. In the blazing heat, they trade heavy blows. During the struggle, the villain throws a razor-sharp blade that deeply slices Spider-Man's arm, spilling his blood before Peter manages to escape. Later that exact same day, Peter rushes back to his house. His aunt is hosting a lovely Thanksgiving dinner, and guess who is invited? Harry, Mary, and Harry's father, the mad scientist himself. At the dinner table, no one suspects a thing. They are laughing and eating, completely unaware that the man passing the mashed potatoes is a psychopathic murderer. But as Peter reaches across the table, his sleeve pulls back just a fraction of an inch. The scientist's eyes instantly lock onto the fresh, bleeding cut on Peter's arm. The exact same cut he gave Spider-Man just an hour ago. The realization hits the villain like a freight train. Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Unable to hide his shock and creeping rage, the scientist abruptly excuses himself and leaves the house. He now knows his greatest enemy's secret identity, and worse, he knows exactly who Peter loves. The villain wastes zero time. If he can't break Spider-Man physically, he will break his soul. That night, he crashes violently through the bedroom window of Peter's sweet, elderly aunt. The horrifying attack is so severe that it leaves her badly injured and hospitalized. While Peter is sitting by his aunt's hospital bed, completely consumed by guilt and fear, his friends come to visit. During a quiet moment in the hallway, Peter and Mary share a deeply emotional, intimate conversation. Harry watches them from afar, and intense jealousy boils up inside him. Harry has always had feelings for Mary, and seeing her look at Peter with such love shatters him. Feeling betrayed, Harry goes home and vents to his father,
Oh, you're right about MJ.
unknowingly handing the villain the final piece of the puzzle. The scientist realizes that attacking the ant wasn't enough. Mary is Peter's true weakness. The climax reaches a boiling point on a massive, towering bridge overlooking the dark river. The villain has set the ultimate sadistic trap. Spider-Man swings to the top of the bridge and freezes in horror. The mad scientist is hovering in the air. In one hand, he is dangling a terrified Mary over the dizzying drop. In his other hand, he is holding a cable attached to a broken tramcar filled with screaming, innocent children. The villain looks at Spider-Man with pure evil in his eyes. He forces Peter to make the ultimate psychological choice. Save the woman you love, or save the innocent children. You can't have both. With a maniacal laugh, he releases his grip on both of them. Mary and the tramcar plummet toward the black water below. Peter doesn't even hesitate. Pushing his body past every physical limit he has, he dives off the bridge. In a stunning display of speed and precision, he shoots a web to catch Mary, swings her to safety, and immediately fires another massive web line, catching the heavy tramcar just seconds before it hits the water. The strain on his muscles is agonizing, but he holds on. A rescue boat quickly maneuvers underneath, and Peter safely lowers both Mary and the children onto the deck. He did the impossible. He saved them all. But the villain isn't finished. Furious that his psychological torture failed, he blindsides Spider-Man, lassoing him with a heavy cable and dragging him through the air before violently smashing him into an abandoned, crumbling brick facility. What follows is the most brutal, agonizing fight of Peter's life. He is utterly exhausted, his energy fully depleted from the bridge rescue. The villain ruthlessly beats him, throwing explosive pumpkin bombs that shatter Peter's mask and leave him bleeding and gasping for air. The villain mocks him, punching him over and over, preparing to deliver the final, lethal blow. But as Peter lies bleeding on the cold floor, he remembers his uncle, he remembers his aunt, he remembers Mary. A sudden, explosive surge of willpower ignites inside him. He catches the villain's fist mid-swing. Spider-Man rises up, his incredible strength returning. He unleashes a furious barrage of punches, throwing the heavily armored villain across the room. Using his webs, Peter aggressively rips a massive, heavy brick wall down, crushing the villain underneath the rubble. Beaten, broken, and terrified of Spider-Man's wrath, the villain realizes he has lost. He desperately pulls off his terrifying helmet, revealing his true face to Peter. He starts weeping, begging for his life. "Peter, please! It was the goblin. The gas made me do it. I had nothing to do with it. You're like a son to me. I beg you, protect me." Peter stands over him, his fists clenched, chest heaving. For a split second, it looks like the villain has truly repented, but it's a massive, deadly lie. While begging for mercy, the villain's hand secretly presses a button on his wrist. Behind Spider-Man, the metallic glider silently powers up. Its razor-sharp blades extend. The villain aims to impale Peter from behind. Suddenly, Peter's sixth sense screams in his head. The hairs on his neck stand up. Without even looking back, Peter instantly backflips high into the air. The glider shoots forward at lightning speed, completely missing Spider-Man, and violently impaling the villain against the brick wall. The mad scientist dies by his own treacherous hand. Honoring his friend Harry, Peter silently carries the villain's lifeless body back to his mansion, leaving him there so his son can find him without ever knowing the monstrous truth of what his father had become. The story wraps up on a deeply emotional, somber note. We see Peter standing quietly at his uncle's grave, the weight of the world resting heavily on his shoulders. The sky is gray. Mary approaches him, the wind blowing her hair. After everything they have been through, for she finally looks into his eyes and confesses her deep, true love for him. It is everything Peter has ever wanted since he was a little boy on that school bus. But Peter knows the tragic truth. If his enemies ever find out he loves her, they will never stop hunting her. To keep her safe, he swallows his own happiness. He gently tells her they can only ever be friends. As he walks away from the graveyard, Peter accepts his lonely, dangerous fate. He isn't just Peter Parker anymore. He is a protector. He is Spider-Man. So what do you think about this movie? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing movie stories. See you in the next one.